be a nice health place. It's going to be a nice health place.
Where are they building it at?
But, you know, if you've gone to like soccer tournaments and baseball and all that for the kids, you can go to these places that are always looking good. They have a good so we have an opportunity to do that again. Have open so
Yeah.
Dang, it's hot here. It's just like no air movement at all. Well, I mean, nothing's happening. It's not. There's just a lot of people in here.
Andy, I don't see Tina. Did you know we were meeting tonight?
Oh, she's here.
Oh,
She's in the second row. Second row. Who's he looking for? Tina. The second row. Tina who? Garber. Tina Hudson from Garber.
Oh, she must be. I see her there. She's gonna get my bad graces.
What time do you have? 6 o'clock. There we go. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Thank you everybody for attending and ask you to stand for the invocation. And I'd like to ask Chief Page to do the invocation tonight.
Heavenly Father God, we just come to you, Lord, asking you to be with everyone here tonight, Lord. Be with our council as they make decisions, Lord, that affect our city, Lord, that they be in accordance with your will. God, we ask that you be with everyone, keep them safe as they travel home tonight. God, just thank you for loving us and being our God. Amen.
Amen. Join me for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I failed to mention that if you have a cell phone, could you please silence it before we get started. Next item on our agenda is announcements, and the only one I have to make is that this Friday is the monthly curbside bulky trash pickup. So please, if you need that done, contact Waste Connections by close of work on Thursday. Number 5 on the agenda is the oath of office and to elect Mayor Pro Tem. First thing we'll do is canvass the election. Each one of you have the documentation before you. We'll entertain a motion to approve the election results.
So moved.
Bishop and Kent. Love.
Aye.
Buckmaster.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Bishop.
Aye.
And Kent. Chuck Malone is absent tonight for voting. Okay, now we're going to administer the oath of office to the newly elected officials. So, do you want to do the mouths first? Because that way they can just go sit down. Sure. Okay. Instead, we'll make a presentation. We have an outgoing council member. Arlene, if you'd stand up front with me, because I'm sure somebody wants to get a picture. We'll make a presentation. Arlene Bishop has served on the council this term, 2017 through 2019, so the city would like to award to you a Dewey High for your service, and thank you very much. And did you get your picture? Thank you.
presented to Mayor Burris. We appreciate your 2 years on as mayor for the city of Bowie.
Thank you.
You did a lot of terrific things, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to go. Now we're going to do the oath of office for our newest elected officials. And the first one I'm going to call is for City Councilor Precinct 1, City of Bowie, which would be Mrs. Diana Higgins. After we swear you in, you'll have paperwork to sign with the city secretary, so please don't leave without doing that. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas.
I, Diana Higgins,
I, Diana Higgins,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will faithfully
or affirm that I will faithfully
execute the duties of the office
execute the duties of the office
of City Councilor Precinct 1 of the City of Bowie,
of City Councilor Precinct 1 of the City of Bowie,
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of the state of Texas.
and of the state of
So
Texas.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You can sign that and return to her. Our next council visitor is Mr. Jason Love. You've done this pretty recently. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
continuing to serve. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I, Jason Love,
I, Jason Love,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of
of the office of
County City Councilor Precinct 2 of the City of Bowie,
City Council Precinct 2 of the City of Bowie,
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
and to the best of my ability preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the laws, the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of the state,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you. The next is our reaffirming of Mr. Wayne Bell. Thank you for running again. Go slowly.
Go slowly.
Okay. Raise your right hand, Mr. Bell. In the name and by the authority of
By the name and authority of
the state of
the
Texas,
state of Texas,
I, Wayne Bell,
I, Wayne Bell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office of
of the office of
City Councilor Precinct 3 of the City of Bowie.
City Councilor Precinct 3 of the City of Bowie,
Of the state of
of the
Texas,
state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and
of
laws
the United
of
States
the United States
and of this state.
and of Texas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. And the last one will be for your new mayor, Mr. Bill Miller. If you'll come forward, we'll swear you in. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I, Bill Miller,
I, Bill Miller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties of the office
execute the duties of the office
of the mayor of the city of Bowie,
of the mayor of the city of Bowie,
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
Congratulations. Follow me, I'll move out and you can move in.
That's his, he needs to sign for you. I'm going to step out and let him take the meeting over.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Wow. Let me just say a few words before we get started here. I'd wish to thank my family and friends. My daughter and son-in-law drove up here from Fort Worth. They just finally made it here from the traffic. And I've got a lot of other friends here. I appreciate that and thank you for it. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to congratulate Wayne Bell for being reelected. There you are, Wayne. And also to Jason Love and Diana Higgins. So congratulations to you folks. I'd like to welcome all of you to attend future council meetings. It's so good to see so many turn out here this evening. I wish it would be this way every time, because you're the citizens that put us all in these places here, and we need to hear from you. So by all means, come again. You're welcome at any time. Now at this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Chuck Lasseter from the First Free Will Baptist Church here in Bowie to open this session of the meeting with a prayer. So Pastor Chuck, if you could do that. You don't have to stand if you don't want to.
Go with prayer. Father God, we thank you for these elected officials here. We thank you for the city of Bowie here in Texas. And Father, we ask that you'll be watching over each and every one of these council members, the mayor, dear Father, and all that are involved in serving the citizens of Bowie. Father, we ask, dear God, that you bring unity, dear Father, to the citizens here. Father, we ask that you help the council members as they work together to have the best city of Bowie that we can have. And we especially pray for Bill Miller and for the new elected officials, dear God, that you would help them be able to get up to speed. And Father, just again, bless our council and bless the citizens here in Bowie, dear God, and this city. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Because of so many people who came from far places and have other things to do tonight, if y'all want to leave, you can. If you don't want to, you can. I mean, if you want to stay, you can. But we don't want to force you to stay here. So if you have to leave for other obligations, by all means do that. But again, you're still welcome to stay. Okay. Okay, now the first thing on the agenda is we need to elect a mayor pro tem for this session, so I'll open the floor up for any nominations for mayor pro tem.
I'd like to go ahead and nominate Jason Love, please.
Jason? Okay. Anyone else?
I'd like to nominate Wayne Bell for return.
Okay.
I think we probably should have had a second or not had a
That's right.
second, take a vote and then.
Thank you. So there's our second on nominating.
I'll second Jason.
Boy, you was quick on that.
Wayne, trying to tell me something, or?
Okay, are there any other nominations from the floor?
Well, at this point, I think, Mr. Mayor, we have a motion and a second. We've got to hear it.
Okay. We got to make it. We've got a motion. We're going to second it, so we need to prove that. All in favor? Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Buckmaster?
Aye.
Mr. Love? Well, I can't call on you. You're the hot seat here. Mr. Bell?
Aye.
And Ms. Higgins?
Aye.
So it looks like we've got a mayor pro tem.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And look forward to
Thanks,
working
guys.
with you, Jason. Does that mean we share the pay?
Mine might have been a little bit more.
Okay, all right. Good deal.
We just passed it last week.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the discussion about our water treatment plant. And I think in your packet here, we have an agenda.
That's going to be the city manager's report, but do you
Okay.
want to say?
Yeah, let's see. We've made a change in the way we're going to have to do things on the city manager's report. So Bert, do you want to talk to us about that?
Well, I asked the city attorney to do some examination about how we do our agenda and you know, what we could and couldn't put on the agenda. Specifically, it had to do with Thomas Kent asking if we couldn't put something like a city council comment or something like that on the agenda. And learned the city attorney explained to me and them, as I sent that all to y'all, that we can't do that way. And she also pointed out that unless I index and talk about in the city manager's report on the agenda, that I shouldn't be making that. So until I get a little advance notice, and which I'll do next week, I'll index exactly what I'm going to be talking about on the city manager's report. But because of the open meetings law, we have to do it that way. So I'm not giving a city manager's report tonight, and it wasn't interesting anyway.
I thought that's why everybody came tonight, was to hear your report.
Probably was, but.
Okay. Next on the agenda is public comments, and am I supposed to read that whole thing?
No.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to say something? Please come to the podium. You state your name and where you live.
I live in Bowie. My name's Dylan Steen. And this looks long, but I promise I can read pretty fast. I just write it out so that I don't stumble all over myself. I've always believed that you don't say anything about somebody if you wouldn't say it square to their face. So that's the way I was raised, and that's why I'm here tonight. I'm just one guy. I'm just one citizen in this town, so I don't amount to a hill of beans in the big picture, but I've got a right to have my say. Tonight we begin with a brand new mayor and a brand new council member. The other sitting council members have been here for a while already, so they're somewhat familiar to the goings-on. It is no secret who my support went to in the elections. I was very vocal about that. The voters spoke, though, and here we are. For better or for worse is yet to be seen. I do commend each and every one of you for your parts in serving on this council and serving the city. I do want to say thank you to the outgoing Mayor, Galen Burris. I'm not sure that anybody that's ever sat in that seat has filled it with as much compassion and drive as she did. She carried the weight on her shoulders of a lot of things that was not her weight to carry. She did it, though, because she believed in Bowie, she believed in the people, and she led by example. I feel like many people are about to find out that many of the fingers that were pointed directly at her were displaced, that they should have been pointed elsewhere. But hindsight's 20/20, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. To the council, newly elected, re-elected, or already seated, you are the true decision makers here in Bowie. Within your governing body lies the true power of what happens in this town. I implore all of you to not rely on just the naysayers of this town, but to also listen to those of us and come out and talk to those of us that are not spending all of our time complaining, but are also working to try to do what we can as a normal everyday citizen to make a difference. And that's not saying that the naysayers don't have a voice. Everybody has things that they need to complain about, myself included. But don't only focus on the negative in this town. I personally volunteer with 2 different organizations here in town and support countless others. I could count on my hands how many times I've seen any of y'all out at any of those events or meetings, and I would have a lot of fingers left over. So we need the support for the positive things in this town, not just everybody talking about the negative. So while you're quick to respond on social media and to sure hold the spoon that stirs a lot of pots, it disheartens me to not see more of you out in the community trying to make a difference there. Doing the right thing with a true and good heart is not about getting tons of attention. It's about doing the right thing when nobody's looking. To the newly elected mayor, Mr. Miller, I do not know you personally, but I do know what I have seen and read, both in social media and other media outlets. To say my concern is great would be an understatement. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly standing up here. I'm just telling you exactly how I feel. I don't know the whole ins and outs of the meeting getting moved from Thursday, Tuesday, back to Thursday. That was just all a social media nightmare trying to even make sense of it. What I do know that small town USA sports is a big thing. We all know Friday Night Lights is a story for a reason. We take pride in our sports teams and our families. You take pride in your family too, sir, and I understand that you have people coming from out of town, so I get it. I just hope that you'll be flexible to the needs of the other council members, other citizens that may need to make special arrangements for their families also. We've got daughters that would like to have been here for their family. We've got family that would like to have been here for their daughters. Business is business, though. I get that. The city business has to go on. However, I hope that flexibility comes from everybody, not just you, sir. I'm not trying to pinpoint you on this matter. Family is important, but one of the things that you campaigned on was transparency. Your name was all over social media, but I never saw you respond. I saw a lot of folks responding for you. So while you've been quick to throw out your opinion in the past, instead on this matter, you let everybody else do your speaking for you. That doesn't feel right to me. I don't expect you to comment or respond to everything social media posts that you get tagged in, especially now that you're mayor, because that's all you spend your time doing. But by not informing the entire public of the facts of why this meeting happened, it doesn't seem like much transparency, and I don't like the feeling of somebody else doing your talking for you. And I also must address, Mr. Miller, your social media posts during and after the election. Sir, you flat insinuated that I'm a thief. While you did not name any specific names, you alluded to the fact that you thought supporters of your opponent were stealing your campaign signs. So basically, because I was a supporter of your opponent, you accused me of being a thief. I don't take too kindly to that. While yes, I did support your opponent, I'm not a thief, and I believe wholeheartedly in running a clean campaign, whether it be local, state, or national level. I've seen your comments on social media stating that you have ideas on how to clean up drugs and booze. I think that's something that all of us focus on. One of the groups I'm involved with is Neighborhood Watch. But I would implore all of you, not just the mayor, but all of you city council members too, let our police do their job. Go sit down and meet with them. And if you don't think that our police are doing their job, that's an insult to every man and woman that puts on that uniform in this town. Now, you ran on a platform, Mr. Miller, that was different, that you said was different from what your opponent was already doing. I don't feel that way, but that's neither here nor there. But you also ran on the either it's me or her saying. I saw that typed out in your own words. That was your post. So I saw your interview with one of the TV stations where you said you wanted to change the negativity that shines on this council. Sir, where do you think that negativity came from? Many of your supporters shine that negativity on this council and this town as a whole. Your statement of it's either me or her is a negative statement in itself. Not the words so much as how they were delivered and why. This whole town is in an us versus them mentality right now, and it was brought about needlessly. So as you start your tenure as mayor, be very aware that a snake will bite itself also. Those very same people who have screamed the loudest against past mayors and past councils will scream at you also if you don't do everything they want, the way they want it, and in the time frame they want it. You will be tried in the public eye long before all the facts come out. So I hope you're ready, sir. And I will support this council, this mayor, just like I have previous ones, as long as I think y'all are making the right decision. Leo's Tolstoy said, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. So I'm going to go into the next 2 years with an open mind. My concerns are very high right now, though, that things are going to become very ugly. I hope I'm wrong. To every one of you sitting up there tonight, I ask you to do your best and keep not your egos in mind, but the good of the people of this town in mind. Remember, respect is not given, it's earned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Steen. I appreciate your comments. We can't comment on that tonight because it's not on the agenda, but I will just say this. If you or any of the other folks that you referenced there would like to meet and hear the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, I'll be willing to meet with you and any of them anywhere, anytime, any place. So y'all let me know, and I'll sit down, and the truth will be told, the truth will be said, and it'll set you free. Okay, anybody else have anything else to say? Yes, ma'am. If you would state your name, who you are, and where you're from.
Mr. Miller, I'm Mildred McCraw. And I would like to say congratulations to you and the new council. I would also like to say this. I am not on social media. I also live outside the city limits. But I believe that whatever happens in my community, Bowie, Texas, does not begin and end at the city limits. You are here to represent not only those that live within the city limits, but those that live outside of the city limits, because we help support the growth of this community. I would also like to say this. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is wisdom when used wisely. So all of the information that is given, use it wisely. Have a positive thought. And I would like to thank Mr. Steen for his comments, because he has supported Bowie not only in his own time and effort, not only monetary, but individually. So, who else wants to stand up and support the city of Bowie, Texas, and get out there and help our city grow? Thank you.
Thank you, Mildred. Anyone else have something to say? If not, we'll close that item out and move on to the next item. Item number 8 on the agenda, consent approval. And this is to approve the minutes of the last meeting. And I think y'all have a copy of that in your report, or in your package. So are there any comments about the previous meeting minutes? And if not, we'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Love, the second?
Second.
Mr. Bell. Okay, those in favor, Mr. Kent?
Aye.
Ms. Buckmaster?
Aye.
Ms. Higgins?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
And Mr. Love?
Aye.
Okay, that being approved, we'll move on to the next one. And I think we have something here from Mr. Cunningham on the old business, section number 9, old business, a report on the Nortex-Mitigation Plan project update. Bert, do you have something on that?
Yeah, I've spoken with county judge and with Nortex, and our mitigation plan is in the process of being approved. It's dragging on like everything that goes through the state, but hopefully sometime in the next 3 or 4 weeks that we will get the plan approved and get it submitted to the state and FEMA to finish that project up. And basically, just to kind of re-inform everybody, the reason we do the mitigation plan is it's getting so state and federal agencies will not consider any grant applications you make unless you've been through a mitigation plan and line out what you think the dangers to your city are, and you make plans to mitigate those dangers. So,
Do we have a list of what's on the plan you've put together yet?
yes.
And can you tell us briefly what it is?
Well, I can't remember everything, but I can tell you this.
Some of the highlights.
The highlights is the main thing that we put on it is the flood damage from the 2016 floods that runs basically from Highway 59 all the way to the east side of town. The old lake dam is on the mitigation plan. Tornado safety things are on it, where we want to build some safe rooms at the schools for the kids, and several things like that, similar to that.
Okay. All righty. Anyone have any questions about Bert's report? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next one. Which one is that? Yeah, I need to read this ordinance. There we go. It's agenda item number 9, number 2. It's an ordinance, I need to read this here. An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of the City of Bowie, Texas, Chapter 11, Utilities and Solid Waste, and Article 11.500, utility billing procedure, section 11.503, when payments are due, administrative changes, or charges rather, subsection A and B, section 11.504, delinquent charges, notices, and section 11.506, service reconnects after non-payment of account are amended. These provisions of section 11.505, service disconnect fee, are deleted, reserving the section number for future use, providing a savings clause, providing a repealing clause, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. Now, I think y'all reviewed this before, and this is brought up again, so are there any questions from the council on what we need to do here?
Carrie, did you run those reports I was asking you
Yeah,
for?
okay, so,
Carrie, if you'd come to the podium so we could hear. And also, I forgot to mention, everybody, you know, we're on live, these meetings are being broadcast live on the internet. They can see us, but they can't hear us. So if you're going to speak, turn the microphones to you so you can speak into the microphones. I've already violated that law myself, so we do have a microphone on the podium now so that the people watching on TV can hear the person from the podium speaking. So go ahead, Carrie.
Jason kind of wanted a rundown about the amount or number of accounts that were over $50 for the penalties or late fees. In the last year, there's been about 44 residential and 61 business accounts that have been over $50.
Yeah, the amount for the residential, the dollar amount?
How many, I'm sorry, I missed it. How many?
44 residential and 61 businesses that were over the $50 cap that you're only looking at putting on there.
For the entire 12 months.
Right. From last October to this September.
And how many businesses? I'm sorry.
About 61.
So we don't know if the residential portion of it is $40,000 or what, so we don't know.
Jason, if you would speak into the microphone.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
it's going to
sorry.
be considerably
It won't
lower.
pick us up yet.
The ones that I saw that were residential were not, they weren't that high, like $60 maybe.
$60 is the highest one?
60 to 70, I think,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions for Carrie? Y'all doing your math over there?
Yeah, Aggie math.
I don't have enough fingers.
I gotta have a calculator. If I can find it on here.
And you said the ones that were over 50 were in the range of 60 to, I mean, average $60, $70.
Now, there were a lot that were just over 50.
Just right
There
at
were only
over
a few
50.
that were between 60 and 70, so.
So we're losing about $2,200 a month.
No, for the
No,
year.
for the year.
For the year, okay.
What'd you say, Jason, 2,200 a year?
$2,200 for the
For the
year?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's for the year, from October to
So
September.
40, I'm sorry, so 44 was for the year count, not month
Yes.
count?
Right.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay. All right, thank you.
So what's the council's opinion, what we should do with this? Do we need to make a vote on approving this?
I make a motion to accept.
Okay, okay, do we have a second on that motion? No second. So I guess this motion for this approval of this ordinance is not going to pass tonight. Any comments?
Yes. Okay, I thought, and were we not including small businesses?
No, residential only. Because there are some small businesses, and I was one of them, that had a bill that was $1,000 to $1,500. And if I could let that bill ride for $50 late fee, there's times I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, but Tom, we'll lose a lot of revenue, because I have a feeling that most of the revenue, no, I understand. But I understand, I think a lot of this revenue that we have, which pays our write-offs, okay, let's mind that, the $92,000 that we claiming for this pays our write-offs. I have a feeling that a lot of our income from that is gonna be from small, medium, and large.
Yes, and they're not affected. This is only
This would only affect
this is only for residential.
Right, no, I understand.
I want to minimize the amount of late fees that residential customer is going to incur.
Okay.
And cap it at 50.
Yeah.
So it can't go over that.
I've
I don't want to do that for a small and medium business. because they can ride that.
Well, I knew we had talked about the medium businesses being too much, but I thought we had decided, or we had talked about the small businesses being.
Okay, folks, we've had a motion for approve it, and we didn't have a second, so it's died, so we really need to move on, and we need to probably talk about this at a later time. If y'all want to put this on the agenda for a future meeting.
I'll make a motion, we table this for a future meeting.
Well, we've already got a motion.
Okay, by then, I just, sorry.
I move that we, what do I move?
If this is something that you all want to reconsider, it may be something that you want to approach the mayor about for a future agenda.
Okay.
Just let it fall
Clearly,
down.
it's over for tonight.
My concern was
So-
that there were other changes in here that we changed to reflect what we were actually doing, that even if we don't put in the $50 limit, we have to
I understand.
update.
So we'll just let this one fall unapproved, and if we want to reconsider putting it on a next meeting's agenda, we'll do that. Okay? Okay, then we'll move on to the next item. Thank y'all for that comment. It's good to see that dialogue between you guys so we can get some intelligent discussions going on here. I appreciate that. New business. Okay. Okay, our Article 10, under new business, Resolution 2019-29, a resolution regarding a contract for the purpose of financing Aviation Fuel System, Wastewater Cleaning System, and WatchGuard Cameras. And we have, I think, Kevin Lerner here from Government Capital Corp. to talk about this. Mr. Lerner? Thanks for coming.
Thank you and good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Back in the July and August timeframe, back when Bowie was putting together its budget, I was approached by Kerry and Bert to look at possible financing of these items, as well as a couple of others, to put together some numbers, cost estimates for financing, and got them in the budget that's approved. And so at this point tonight, we're looking at authorizing the financing of the aviation fuel system out the airport. I think the council should have a packet with this information delineated. Did you get this out to them?
Yes.
Okay. So you should have the items that we're looking at financing: the aviation fuel system, wastewater filtration replacement, you see the WatchGuard, which are the body cameras and police cameras, and then the cost to put all the financing together. You also see the proposed amortization there. Bert asked that we solicit all of your local lending institutions, the banks here in town, see what their level of interest was on providing financing. We got numbers from each of those institutions. They range from in the 4% to 3.5%. Being in the business every day, we've also got a syndicate of other investors statewide that are interested in this type of debt, and we got numbers from them that range. The lowest one was the 1.97% fixed rate for 5 years. We also got a couple of others in the low 2%. So in visiting with Mr. Cunningham, trying to put together a recommendation, he thought that if we're dealing with taxpayer money, let's go with the lowest rate we could get, which is the 1.97%. And so you see the proposed amortization there in front of you. If we were to get the council's approval and blessing in the resolution tonight, we would estimate that we could have the funds available for the city for these acquisitions towards the latter part of November, working with Kerry and working with her and finding out when the best time to make the payment for the city's budget. Cash flow, she indicated that February worked best, and so you see an amortization there that reflects the acquisition, the financing, and the best terms that we could find for the city of Bowie.
Okay, is there any discussion about this from the council on what we want to do? I assume this is already a budgeted item in this year's budget.
Yeah, we had tanks leaking, Bill, that the study had been trying to get this done for some time, and we're just trying to alleviate the problem in the future, possibly with EPA, or because they won't give us a 1.9% interest rate.
It's pretty good interest rate, yeah.
So we figured it'd be great to do it.
I haven't talked to Stoney about this in detail, but I've heard about it from several different people about the condition of those leaky underground pipes and tanks and stuff, so we need to get it fixed. Any other questions?
The
Okay.
wastewater filtration replacement, that's the big new,
Out at the water plant,
yeah.
It's actually a sewer plant.
sewer plant?
Yeah, it's a purification system for the water that we're discharging. It's a,
CUV light, CUV system.
yeah.
Ultraviolet
It's
system.
a ultraviolet light.
In the budget.
The UV system that we have has been out there since we built the sewer plant 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
So it's time for some good maintenance.
Well, it's time for a new machine.
Okay.
And we got a really good deal on this. It's gonna cost us less than we thought it was, so. And then the WatchGuard cameras, which is basically the body cameras for the police department. The company was gonna finance it to another deal, and thankfully, Kevin's firm called me and said, we need to roll it into this 1.97% deal, and I said, thank you. So they've done their job of that, so that'll make our payments less on that.
So we got three things for one here, the
Yeah.
airport, the cameras, and the treatment plant.
Yeah, so-
How many cameras are we getting on this, do we know?
Yeah, all the department personnel will have new body cameras. And they're digital, which the old ones are digital, but these are state of the art, so that there's not gonna be, like if they're using their body cameras to collect evidence and like on drug raids or anything like that, they'll have video evidence. When they walk in the back door of the police station, those cameras will download into the server.
Automatic?
And automatically,
Wow.
they won't have to do anything, and boom, we've got it all, and it'll be top quality.
Good. Sounds like a good system. I look forward to working with Chief Green and getting a demo of that, because I'm very anxious for him to have that thing. That's good. Well, any other questions, discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I make a motion that we, put Mr. Kevin here on the aviation system, the wastewater cleaning system, and the WatchGuard cameras.
Okay, we'll have a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Kent? Aye. Ms. Buckmaster?
Aye.
Mr. Love?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
And Ms. Higgins?
Aye.
Okay, that motion's carried. We'll move on to the next one.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Kevin.
Did we need to hear from Ms. Hanson, who's the firm on that? Okay, yeah.
She's down there.
Okay, she's down here next, or soon, okay. We need to scratch item number 2.
We have one here.
Oh, that's right, we do have one. The next item is appointment to the Bowie Community Development Board. I understand there's 3 folks on there, but only one could show. The other 2 had some issues come up, so Courtney Rhyne is here. Courtney, you want to stand up and tell us a little about what you're doing here? I think I read your application. I saw some good things you put on there.
I don't have to make a speech, but.
No, just tell us.
I'm a probation officer in Montag, and I've been part of this community since I was the first draft.
Wow.
Just kind of looking forward to helping benefit the community.
Well, great. Thanks for volunteering. Okay, we need to make a motion to approve her to the Community Development Board. So do I have a nomination from the floor?
So moved.
Mr. Love, second?
Second.
Mr. Bell. Ms. Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
Mr. Love?
Aye.
Ms. Buckmaster?
Aye.
Mr. Kent?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Courtney. That used to be called the old Main Street, right? So it was changed last year, 2 years ago? Okay. Next item. Consider hiring Dick Bundy for the new... Nope. Oh, okay, that's the one. Consider to award the bid for the WPP waste treatment plant sodium hydrochloride improvement project.
Tina Hanson is here.
Yeah, Tina?
Great.
You want to tell us about this, Tina? Come to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Tina Hansen with Garber Engineers in Fort Worth, Texas. About a year ago, I think, the city hired us to design improvements at the water treatment plant, dealing with the disinfection process at the plant. Basically replacing the current chlorine system with an inherently safer technology, which is a liquid disinfectant. So we've prepared the plans and specs, and the city advertised for bids. We received 2 bidders for the project. We evaluated those bidders' qualifications and documents and have provided the city council with a recommendation for award for Summit Solutions. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Are any of our neighboring cities and towns of our size using this system
Yes,
that
sir.
y'all have done?
Yes,
Who
sir.
are some of those?
The Fort Worth actually has liquid disinfection as well.
Basically, so you'll understand, we're converting to a bleach process. It's basically bleach. The good part about it is, other than being safe, because our water plant is directly south of our high school and our town. So if we had a chlorine leak, we've got a real problem. But the other benefit is the bleach has a longer time in the disinfectant in the water, so that our water will get purer too. So it's a good deal.
Just going to get rid of our muddy water?
Sometimes, maybe not.
Okay.
So I noticed on these two bids, one's higher than the other. We compared apples to apples here, are they both the same bid, everything's the same here, or?
Yes, they both bid on the same exact project.
Okay.
Well, basically, what you'll see in a process like that is somebody that's real busy will bid high
Right,
because they don't necessarily need work, and that's the difference in the bid.
right.
The low bid there is probably the proper bid. So-
And you know these people? You've done work with these people before, the low bidder?
I have not personally, but our firm has worked with.
Worked with them? They come with good recommendations?
Yes.
Okay.
How long have they been in, has the Summit Solutions been in business?
They've been in business for about a year, but he's done previous work under another company. All the work that he's done to date has been satisfactory. We called, I think, 4 different references to ask about the work that he's done. And they all responded that they would hire him again. And he was very responsive in the work that he did.
And excuse me, where are they headquartered out of?
I believe he's in North Texas, so I think it's.
In the Metroplex
in
someplace?
the Metroplex.
Okay.
And the Patterson Water Supply, how long have they been in business?
We evaluated the apparent low bidder. We actually didn't call the references on the higher bidder.
Patterson is the company that's doing our
Lift station.
east lift station, and they're busy, and so
Right.
we got a higher bid from them.
Any other questions, comments?
But you don't have any concerns with Summit Solutions or?
No, ma'am. All the work that they've performed today has been performed well to the price that they bid, and they responded to any issues that might have come up during construction.
Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion, we use Garber for the sodium hydrochloride.
I have,
Summit.
Summit,
Solutions.
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I was reading off front of you.
Yeah.
Yes, Summit Solutions.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Arlene? Okay, let's vote on that. Mr. Kent? Ms. Burris? I'm sorry. Ms. Buckmaster, started with a B.
Aye.
Mr. Love? Mr. Bell? And Ms. Higgins?
Aye.
Okay, that passes.
Thank you. Mayor, can you tell me why the other 2 people weren't voted on in the?
I may have the names wrong here. One of them had a husband went into the hospital this
They
afternoon.
don't have to be here to be voted on.
I prefer them be here if they're going to be on the board.
That's not in the policy.
Well, we're going
As
to,
of today, they don't have to be here to be voted on, to be approved.
okay, well, we're going to move that on to the next meeting.
I don't think you can do that. It's on the agenda tonight.
Council?
We have voted on people that have not been here.
I know we have in the past, but it's my feeling that if someone's going to volunteer to be on a board and they're going to be voted on, they should be
I
here.
understand that may be your feeling, but tonight was on the agenda and you
But they're not here.
in the middle of the meeting.
They're not here.
Most people are not at this meeting when they're voted on.
Well, I think that needs to be changed. If they're going to be on a board, they need to be here.
Mr. Mayor, we have a policy set that we have to follow by, we have to go by it.
Okay?
That may be what you wish the policy to be, but it is not the current policy.
I
Okay.
think we have a policy that
Even if there's
addresses
not a
it.
policy,
Can someone reference that policy?
Tracy, do you have, do you know?
I've never heard of this policy. I am guessing if there is a motion and a second on something that's on the agenda and it passes, then there we are. So it wasn't called as part of what was on the agenda tonight.
I think we have to recess because one of our council members just stepped out.
So, I'm sorry, what are you suggesting?
Well, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you, I don't know that there's a policy that it has to be heard. They were on the agenda. If it is that you'd like them to be present before the council, I'm guessing that's something that the council can decide. If there's a motion and a second on them, then there's a vote and they're in.
But we don't have a motion or a second right now.
Are
Are we bound to do that since we don't know of any policy?
I do not believe that you are bound
Okay.
to do that, but if you would like to do that, you can.
Okay.
But whatever policy is, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Where that
Well, I'm not aware of that either, so
Right.
I'm in the opinion that we need to pass on with this and bring, unless the council wants to make a motion to do something differently. I think I would like to move
I
on.
make a motion that we at least stick to the agenda and give the council the opportunity to vote or not vote, because the agenda was, we weren't given the opportunity, the agenda was just skipped.
I think we're off subject.
I second that.
Okay.
Diane.
So you making a motion?
There's nothing to really vote on that's
I'm sorry,
on our
but-
agenda. So I'm guessing, Mr. Mayor, if you want to go back and you want to call number 2, and somebody makes a motion and a second on 2 of the other folks, they can.
Okay.
And if they don't, they don't. And next time if folks can't be here, then they won't be on the agenda.
Okay. Then I'll go back to item number 10, number 2, appointments to the Bowie Community Development Board. We have 3 members requesting that. One's here, one's voted in, 2 are not. So I have a motion from the council on what we want to do here.
I make a motion for Amy Stagg.
I'll second.
Okay? Just a second, we get caught up on the paper. Mr. Love voted for Stagg and for Higgins for second. Okay. Thomas, did you catch up what we're doing?
No, I do not.
Okay, we're going back to item 10, number 2, reappointment to the Bowie Community Development Board. The council wants to go back and vote on these 2 that aren't here tonight.
Okay.
So the motion was just made to nominate Amy Stagg. So it's been motioned and seconded, so Ms. Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
Mr. Love?
Aye.
Ms. Burrows? I'm sorry, Buckmaster? I'll get that out of my mind here.
You can call me Tammy if
Tammy.
that helps.
Tammy? Mr. Kent?
Aye.
Okay. So we've got Amy Stagg, Courtney Rhyne. We'll do the same for Angela Black. Do we have a motion to? Oh, I read Black, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion for Angela Beck to be on the board?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Higgins, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Kent, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Buckmaster, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Love?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
And Ms. Higgins?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll do with item 10. And I think according to my notes here, the last item is number 4. Consider hiring architect Dick Bundy for the new city offices. And that's my understanding. We've got a floor plan here. That's for the proposed renovation of this building we're in tonight, to modify, remodel it and move in the rest of the city management or city office personnel into this building. And that would be the code enforcement officer, city manager, city secretary, city judge, and the mayor. Is that right? So those 5 people will be moving into this facility. This room here for the council remains intact, I understand, and the rest of the remodeling is for the rest of the building out here, so. And
The last time this was brought up, one council member that said if he had seen the plan, he would have voted for it. Anyway, this is a tentative plan. This is not the final plan. I was asked about some egress places, different doors and whatnot. Well, this is not the final plan, and it's not the one that we made all the changes on. We will have a final plan when and if you vote to hire Mr. Bundy. Mr. Bundy is, since we've already got these plans, there's going to be some revisions, but besides the revisions, he's going to spec all the material, all the windows, doors, and everything like that in the thing, and he is gonna do a ceiling grid for us. He's gonna do some planning on the HVAC and the electrical. His price, if they can't give a exact price, will be between $15,000 and $17,000.
That's just for the architectural work, the plans?
Yes.
Okay. 15 to 17?
Yeah, and he'll give us a packet upon his completion that we can have all the specs on that we can take competitive bids on.
And do we have money in the budget for this service?
Yes, budget.
And do we have money in the budget for this remodeling project?
Yes, it is.
Is that in this year's budget?
Yes.
Okay. How much is that?
I don't know, right off the top of the head.
Ms. Carey, do you know what that budget number is?
Steps it said.
And while she's looking that up, once we finalize the drawings of how we want it built, do we have an expected time they would start once we give them the contract?
No, no. I mean, we're gonna have to take bid before we can even
Right.
get the idea of expected time to do that, so.
I'm thinking just looking at the calendar with holidays coming, it may not start until after the first of the year.
Oh, I'm sure that's true because we've got to bid. And bid take typically.
A month?
Yeah, a month, so.
Okay. Did you find a number, Carrie?
Yes, so all the building renovation stuff would come out of the account that they set aside several months ago for after they sold the land. They moved all of that money over into a account that went to building renovations.
And how much is that?
I think there was $374,000 in there.
You think?
I
Can
don't
we
know,
get
I remember right off my head, it's not in my budget book, it's in my.
Okay. I'll visit with you later. I'd like to see what that exact number is that's been budgeted. So, okay, any questions? Yes.
On this, I know this is not the final, but does this include like expanding this building any? This is just still the same footprint?
It
We're
just,
using.
no, the only thing we're doing is, if you'll notice the plans, there are some windows that we'll be knocking in. I saw knocking in, that's a bad word. We will be cutting holes in that wall over on Pecan Street so that we'll have exterior windows. There's be some doors in there that are not shown in that temporary plan. But pretty much that plan is gonna stay like that. The only thing that we're gonna change, there's gonna be a ceiling grid. We're gonna lower the ceiling down to take care of the HVAC system and the wiring and all that sort of stuff, so.
And I understand there may be some minor modification to the restrooms out here in the lobby, is that too, right?
Actually, they're gonna be reversed. Entrances are gonna be on the other side, and they'll be made, handicap accessible
Good.
totally, so.
Good. So Johnny, you'll be able to come in and use the restroom. Okay. Okay, any other discussions before we consider making this approval to hire Mr. Bundy? Mr. Bundy here, by the way?
No.
Okay. Okay, do we have a motion? Or is there any further discussions on this before we ask for a motion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion, we hire Mr. Bundy to move on to the new city office project.
Okay. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bell. All those in favor, Mr. Kent? Mrs. Buckmaster?
Aye.
Mr. Lowe?
Aye.
Mr. Bell?
Aye.
And Ms. Higgins? Okay, I think that's everything we've got here, so we'll just close this meeting. It's 6:56 PM. Boy, we got out before 7. Thank you very much for everybody coming.